Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us on another Facebook Live where we talk about what's going on with our Transformotion in a box, what was in the spring box, and some of the practical ways that you can use what's inside the box to help you innovate and solve better problems within your organization. So, we're going to take a little look. Now, if you've been with us before, you know that the first box included M.B. Pylan's book, Culturing Creative. And this is a workbook that helps you work on problem solving and innovation within your business. So it's one of the elements in the spring box. Today, we're going to do another exercise that helps you really think about, well, how do I translate this stuff into what I'm trying to do in my business? So we're going to do the exercise on page 20, and we call it idea incubating, or what would fill in the blank do? Now, sometimes our first reaction when we're thinking about something like this is, oh, what would a superhero do? But we want to push you a little bit further than that. So sometimes, to help you, you can just grab some magazines and flip through them and rip out some pages with ideas from people or characters that you see in the magazines. And that'll push you a little further than what is your normal go-to.
Okay, so for today's exercise, we're going to work on a problem that lots of companies face, and that is building employee morale. So, for example, if your organization has recently had a lot of change, maybe there's been a change in ownership or a change in management, and some of those things cause uncertainty and trepidation, and sometimes there are morale issues with employees, and this is very common in all sizes and types of businesses. So, when you're thinking about these ideas and HR needs to sit down and try to solve it, how are we going to boost our team morale? We're going to use this exercise and come up with think differently then. So we're going to take off our HR director hat and try to think a little bit differently. So, like Martha said, we went and ripped out some ideas out of magazines and just looked for interesting images. So this first one we pre-selected. It's a Boy Scout. So we're going to put this up on the board.
We love Boy Scouts.
We're going to think like a Boy Scout for a moment. So if Boy Scouts were in charge, well, what do we know about Boy Scouts that can help with this? They have historically very high morale because they work together as a team. Why is that? Well, when I think of Boy Scouts, rule number one is be prepared. And so having a plan. So maybe if you're having an issue and trying to build your team, don't just think about changing a policy, but have a whole plan for, okay, we're going to change this policy, or we're going to start doing things differently. We're going to have a new process that's going to build trust or build teamwork. But have a plan and unveil it and execute it. And it's going to take time. And I think Boy Scouts are really good about planning ahead and thinking about things in step-by-step fashion.
Boy Scouts also sell a lot of popcorn. I have bought a lot of Boy Scout popcorn. So what if we had a popcorn machine in the employee break room, and you get that wonderful aroma of the popcorn popping, and you've got that visual, and it always feels festive because it's like you're going to the movies or something, and you have some nice promotional messages up above your popcorn machine that communicate with the employees or thank them for what they're doing.
Boy Scouts also earn merit badges. So reward systems, maybe your reward system needs to be revamped and looked at again, and think about ways that employees can get recognized, that they can have a leadership role, because that's another thing I think Boy Scouts are really good at is training new leaders. So leadership isn't necessarily at the top of your org chart. It could be somewhere in your talent pool, and let that leadership baton get passed around for things.
Yeah, because Boy Scouts get to take turns being leaders of certain projects. So that would be a way to involve more people and not put all the pressure on one person.
Okay, well, I chose Grandma as my person. And what do grandmas do best? Spoil us, right? So maybe we can apply this to our situation by giving gift cards to our employees for the things that they do best, or if they achieve a certain goal, then they can receive it then and feel appreciated.
Okay, Grandma also lets you come over for sleepovers, right? So I was thinking about this because actually one of our clients a long time ago did this. They had a slumber party for their department, and everybody brought their jammies, and they stayed up late and watched movies, and ate snacks, and just really built a lot of teamwork around being silly and having a lot of fun and doing stuff that you kind of had forgotten you could do.
When I think about Grandma, Grandma also makes you warm baked cookies. And I think about how food does a lot to create community. And so maybe, and one thing that my mother does with my kids, is she's an awesome grandma, is she lets them take charge of the cooking and teaches them how to cook. So that could be another way to involve employees in an activity or in doing something that they can create together and then enjoy together, so that everybody is a part of it. It's not just something that they're given, but something that they have to commune over.
Nice.
That's a really fun idea. Imagine if, say they take an employee lunch, so they make their lunch in office, and so they have to work together as a team to learn a new recipe and put it together and form some further bonding there.
Awesome. I love that.
Ooh, or also I think of grandma and church ladies. And church ladies a lot of times do potlucks, right, where everybody brings something and then you all share. So you could really do some fun staff meetings around that, where everybody brings something maybe that's a traditional favorite at their house, or maybe something that their grandma served to them as kids, and they could talk about that a little bit, and then how you sort of build some more friendships and teamwork within your organization. Okay, in case any of you all are having ideas, Kristen, you want to check your phone and see if anybody gave us any ideas while we're talking here?
Well, we see Orsalon is with us.
Hi, thank you for joining us.
And Estrada LH.
Hi. Well, thanks for being with us, and I have another one. I ripped this out of the magazine. It's a genie. Okay, so we think about a genie in a bottle. You have to rub the lantern, the genie comes out, and you get 3 wishes. But you, the one who freed the genie, get to ask for those things. The genie doesn't already know what you want. You have to ask. So if we're thinking about your employees, we need to listen. What do they want? What are they concerned about? What do they need? So first, before we even assign a solution to the problem, we just need to ask and listen. How else does the genie inspire us?
Well, the genie, if you could flip it around and think that as if you're the employer, that maybe your employees look to you as the genie that can grant their wishes. But the genie cannot make wishes to enrich himself or to free himself. So maybe always thinking about whatever it is you're trying to do, or however you want to accomplish it, who is the beneficiary? Because as long as you put the needs of your employees first, then you know that you're on the right track. Sometimes you can think you're thinking about shareholders, or you're thinking about other kinds of constituents, but putting employees first is never a wrong way to go.
I think there's also a lot of magic and mystery around the genie in a good way. Like, it's exciting to find out what's going to happen or who's going to come out. So if there's a way to create some excitement about what's happening in your organization, but present that in some kind of a magical, fun way, and help people understand how they're going to benefit from that, that would also be exciting and take away some of the fear of the unknown.
I think about, too, just thinking the story of Aladdin, that when he goes into the cave and there's all that treasure, it's really this humble little lantern where the genie is. And so I think that's a nice metaphor for the good ideas aren't necessarily going to be shiny and bright, and they're not necessarily expensive. They might be hidden, they might be in unexpected places. So I think that's maybe a metaphor for making sure that you're considering all points of view and considering all levels of your organization when you're looking how to solve a complicated problem like team dynamics.
Okay, I just can't help myself. We have to do one more, and we'll do it really fast, because Alex pulled this out of a magazine. It's Steve Martin, and he is wearing a bow tie made out of a balloon, and it made me think about when you have humor, it can bring people together when they can laugh, and that breaks down some barriers. So obviously Steve Martin makes you laugh. He's also a musician.
He's also a philosopher.
So let's get Steve Martin to your employee meeting and everything will be solved.
I'm glad you picked Steve Martin, because I didn't really give it a lot of thought. I ripped him out because I like him. But he, of course, if you remember him from the 70s, is the wild and crazy guy. And I think there, it's typically in larger organizations, or say you're for a highly regulated organization, that there is this desire to really keep things buttoned up. But go ahead, dare to be wild and crazy. Obviously, you have to think about, really what that means. But I've seen some organizations where, for employees, the CEO really let things go and had a lot of fun and created so much fun in their annual meeting over multiple years by just being outrageously funny and really letting the employees see a whole different side, kind of the wild and crazy side of him.
And made the senior management much more relatable.
Yes.
Okay, so in just about 10 minutes, we cranked out a bunch of ideas. Some of them probably not possible, like having Steve Martin come to your employee meeting, but some other things that you could take further and to develop. So this is an exercise that you can do on your own with other images, people, or characters, and to help you brainstorm and think of some new ways to approach what you're working on.
And don't forget, if you're interested in getting a Transformotion in a box for yourself, visit us online at mbpyland.com under the Transformotion tab. We're taking orders until June 1st for our mid-June shipment.
All right, well, thank you all for being with us. Please share our video, let other people know about the good ideas we shared, and let us hear back from you on what you'd like to see from us. Thanks.